What happens when Jahkeem Thanos Stewart snaps his fingers and picks USC?
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Holkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC part of the Locked On Network, your first listen every day. Whether you're watching the show on YouTube, wherever you want to download your podcast, the show's free. The show always appreciates your support. You can get into the new you can get into this season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers, you can place a $5 bet, and you're going to get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. I've got some recruiting news we're going to talk about this segment. Last weekend, when USC beat up on Nebraska, Trojans had a huge recruiting weekend. Massive. Lots of guys in town. So if you've been one of those people kind of lost in the quantum realm, let me help you get up to speed. USC, they've traded in one 5-star quarterback, Juju Lewis. They brought in a bigger, stronger, faster, better 5-star quarterback, local product, Husan Longstreet. And I want to make sure you understand, USC, Lincoln Riley, they initiated this move. Okay, they weren't reacting to Julian dropping them. First thing that happened in this process, Riley called Juju and said, "Hey, we're moving on. You couldn't make a commitment. You couldn't be firm. We're done." And then right after that, real shortly after that, Husan made the flip official. He announced it publicly. That was huge, huge welcome news. Everybody around USC, I haven't heard a negative about this yet. If you have, let me know. Show it to me. Hit me up in the comments section. I have yet to see a negative about this transition. But again, a handful of us kind of anticipated this happening. It wasn't kind of, oh my God, where did that come from? There was a lot of smoke in the air. I started talking about this back in the spring. Anyways, but there was something else out there that USC's been working on. It's been floating out there in the ether. Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of a Marvel kick right now. See this shirt I'm wearing? There's a reason for this. There's a powerful force right now that could literally reshape the college football landscape. A lot of you are going to be old enough to understand this if you've been following USC long enough. It's a Sean Cody moment, so to speak. When Pete Carroll took over the program, he needed that one marquee, big-time anchor, defensive line guy that other people are going to say, whoa, if Sean's going to USC, I'm going to go to USC. Well, Coach Lincoln Riley, Coach Eric Henderson, and everyone else who is involved right now, they're doing their very best to convince Jahkeem Stewart, a.k.a. Thanos, that USC is where he should be playing football starting in 2025. As you know, one of my great sources that Locked On USC likes to use, especially when it comes to recruiting, Scott Schrader from WeRSC.com, he reported that over the weekend, Jahkeem, he met with people from Marvel Studios. He visited the Fox Sports studio. He went ahead and had dinner at Nobu in Malibu. And then he also met some really big-time, influential, prominent people in the real estate development world that are associated with USC. And there are some big-time names that are involved with that. In other words, Jahkeem, he got the royal treatment, and they put it on steroids. Literally, they showed him the most important people USC knows. Some of the most important people. There's too many to count. As far as the Marvel thing is concerned, this is big time. USC is known as the Hollywood Mafia. USC, Hollywood, they go together, I don't know, like McDonald's French fries and ketchup. There's just certain things just work well together. USC, great cinema school. They send a lot of people off to Hollywood. Some of the stuff you see on the big screen, you can send your thank you cards, your Christmas cards, over there to USC. I mean, some of the names. You got John Wayne, Ron Howard, Fonzie, Henry Winkler, George Lucas. Those guys are just kind of like the tip of the spear. And right now, USC is using everything they have in their recruiting and NIL war chest. They have to, especially if they want to get somebody like Thanos to pick USC. If Jahkeem snaps his fingers and makes it happen, that will be a moment that literally changes USC's recruiting course for this, not just for this recruiting cycle, but probably for the next 2 or 3. Again, just like when Sean Cody began, he was part of that new Trojan dynasty. He laid the foundation. Jahkeem, Thanos, he could have a similar effect. Others are going to want to come. I get meaning this wouldn't be a blip type of moment. I know I'm pulling them all out. I'm using them all. But let me give you an idea of why this is not. I'm not just kind of blowing smoke up everybody's skirt right now. After Jahkeem's family, there was not one person closer to him than his coach, Clyde Alexander. That's what they call him, Coach Clyde Alexander. By the way, Clyde, Coach Eric Henderson, they played high school football together out there in Louisiana. He was with Jahkeem on his official visit. In fact, he's been with Jahkeem on all 40 of his college visits. That's over 3 years. So he's seen it all. You're not going to be able to BS your way through this recruiting process with Jahkeem and the people who are guiding him. This is what Coach Alexander had to say. Quote, at USC, they have an elite staff, great schemes on defense and an offense and an administration, and all in adding with elite coaches and athletes to the football program. We're not looking at USC's record or the same stuff fans are. We're looking at what those coaches are doing with their current players. USC has everything it needs to be successful, end quote. One of those things is what USC can offer with an NIL package. And look, as much as I don't like the direction college football it's going, the way it's taken, I'm pragmatic about this too. If you want to compete for the top prospects, you have to play the game by the rules that are in place. Or in this case, there aren't any rules. What rules, right? I have no idea what the number is, but apparently USC went all in. I mean, they broke the bank. It's the largest NIL contract that USC has offered to a high school recruit. Money is going to play a role in this recruiting, with this recruitment. Let's not be naive about this. However, besides the money aspect of it, which again, going to play a role, but I don't think it's the biggest role here. USC has a real unique advantage because of where they're located and who is associated. We all know Oregon likes to use Phil Knight. Okay, they've got a really good NIL system. They laid the foundation. They got unlimited bags of cash to throw around. But that's about it. Maybe a job at Nike when they're done. But in this case, USC knows some pretty powerful people in the Marvel world. People who own the naming rights to Thanos. Guys like, the head of Marvel, Kevin Feige, who just happens to be a USC alum. Marvel Studios was one of the stops that Jahkeem took on his visit last weekend. So again, getting Thanos to play football at USC, that's big time. But life after football matters too to this young man. Maybe he wants to work at Marvel Studios. I don't know, but I don't doubt the fact that USC can maybe get him a cameo role in the next movie. That might work out. If after football he wants to get into sports broadcasting, journalism, when he's not, in season, he can get an internship at Fox Studios. He also visited there on his visit. Again, they don't have these things in Eugene or Columbus, Ohio, or Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Maybe Jahkeem wants to get into real estate when he's done with football. Can't think of a better place than USC. here's what's going on. So Jahkeem's going to be visiting Oregon this upcoming weekend, then Ohio State the weekend after that, and then he's making his school choice on December 4th. Both of those schools, as well as the local school LSU, they can make significant money offers, but it's what they can't offer. That's what Coach Alexander, and that's what got Coach Alexander and what got Jahkeem's attention. Life after football. So what was that line from Thanos in the movie? It's inevitable. Oh, got a little bit ahead of myself there. Before we jump into a commercial, I do have one other recruiting nugget I want to get out here. I can't see the name, but USC also has another 4-star offensive lineman that has silently flipped and is going to call USC's name out. It's either going to be right before Thanksgiving, probably right after. Offensive tackle. The only clue I'm going to give you is from the state of Texas. That's all I can offer at this point. I'm not going to steal this young man's thunder. But one of my show's everyday viewers, listeners, sent me messages and said this is happening. So I think the timing is going to be when Cardi Smith eventually decommits. I think that's going to happen. I think he's attached to Juju Lewis. Is when I anticipate his replacement going public. And he's got a pretty nice NIL package too. So again, got something coming up. Can't mention any names yet. Big time prospect from the state of Texas. And we're all snapping our fingers that Thanos wants to pick USC. I love her a great deal as much as the next guy. I really do. But you know what? I'm not going to pretend to be a Bruin or a Domer just to save a few bucks. I don't play that game. It has to be easy, right? No hoops, no BS. So when Mint Mobile said it was easy to get wireless for $15 a month with the purchase of a 3-month plan, I called them on it. Turns out it really was that easy. You can get wireless for $15 a month. In fact, the longest part of the process was the time spent trying to get out of my old contract, my old plan. To get started, go to mintmobile.com/lockedoncollege. There you'll see that right now, all 3-month plans are only $15 a month, and that's including the unlimited plan. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with your existing contacts. Find out how easy it is to switch to Mint Mobile and get 3 months of premium wireless for $15 a month. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/lockedoncollege. That's mintmobile.com/lockedoncollege. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/lockedoncollege. $45 up front, payment required. That's equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speeds slower above 40 gigs on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. I'm going to give you a quick practice update from Tuesday's practice. Coach Riley's sick. The team is sick. The flu has shown up and it is ravaging the locker room. I woke up this morning to a text message that said, Mark, 10 players and coaches have a severe case of the flu, and they're doing a deep cleansing of the McKay Center. I'm not sure why, but the first thing I visualized was the movie Outbreak. A bunch of people dressed up in biohazard suits, just spraying down the walls of the workout equipment, everything inside the McKay Center. I don't think it was that bad, but apparently it's pretty bad. It's not the best time to be getting sick right now. Rivalry week, UCLA. Yeah. But look, it's hitting the team hard right now. Woody Marks was one of the first to get it. He had it in the game last week against Nebraska. Didn't really phase him. I mean, what did he do? 146 yards, 19 carries, went over 1,000 yards. Coach Riley told the media that he's hopeful that the worst is behind the team. It's generally running through everybody. It takes about 48 to 72 hours. So at the end, Coach Riley said, "Look, at 7:30 Saturday night, nobody cares what you have or didn't have. You better be ready to play." In other words, no one wants to hear any excuses. Coach Dan Lynn said he hasn't gotten it yet. And then he knocked on wood. That was me knocking on my head. And said it's affected how they've had to prepare this week, with some of the guys actually having to, jump into team meetings via Zoom. Some guys are actually missing practice. So it gets through you really quickly, but it hits you really hard is what it's coming down to. Something else Coach Riley was asked about after practice. He was asked about the smack talk. Yeah, a little smack talk, rivalry week. Typically, it doesn't come from the coaches. This time, UCLA head coach Deshaun Foster, he found time to run a little smack earlier this week. So Coach Riley was asked about it when Coach Foster said, "A lot of families in LA, the smarter ones, usually come over here," referring to UCLA, "and the other ones go to the other school." Coach Foster was talking about this before Monday's practice. I mean, it's proven. This is the number one ranked public university per U.S. News and World Report. "I'm not making anything up. This is a proven fact," end quote. It immediately got me thinking. The irony of Deshaun Foster playing the "they're dumber than we are" card. Do you remember when he was introduced at Big Ten Media Day in Indianapolis this summer? I do. He had one of those I'll say it, he had a dumb moment at Big Ten Media Day. Remember when Einstein was introduced to the country and he was letting everyone know who UCLA is? Quote, "I'm sure you guys don't know too much about UCLA, our football program, but we're in LA. It's us and USC. I'm just basically excited. Really. That's it." End quote. He was nervous. I get it. But again, if you're going to talk about the illiterates at USC, you probably don't want to come off sounding like an illiterate when you're the representative of the UCLA football program. So yeah, Coach Foster sounded like a Mensa Club member. Not really, but like I said, I get the smack talk. I've been known to throw a few verbal punches in my day. If anybody knows me, they'll say, "Don't get into it with Mark. He'll drag you." I used to have a lot of fun when I was just a fan. I'm still a fan, but I kind of have to draw a line where I can say something, what I can't say. Takes a little bit of the fun out of it, but whatever. Like I said, don't go for the "my guys are smarter than your guys" smack when you can barely talk about your own program without looking like a scared child. Don't do that. It's not a good look. My favorite kind of smack talk is the kind Ray Malaluga. Remember Ray when he put a hit on the UCLA quarterback on the sideline? I mean, I don't want anything that injures a player, but I want a smack talk hit so hard that you can feel it when you're watching the replays on TV over 100,000 times. It was one of the big time hits. I mean, you know what? Give credit to the UCLA quarterback. What was it, Patrick Cowan? Dude jumped right back up, but he felt it. I felt it. Or you know what? How about this kind of smack talk? The kind that USC's wide receivers talked back during the 2019 game. Yeah, they went off. They they let everybody know we are USC's wide receivers, and you can't stop us. Seriously, how many teams could say they had 4 different wide receivers go over 100 yards in the same game? let alone against their rival. In 2019, and you had a freshman at quarterback. Remember Keaton Slovis? Keaton freaking Slovis? That was my nickname. He had over 500 yards passing in the game, 4 touchdowns. USC won 52-35. I don't think you're going to see that type of contest this year. I don't think it's going to be that wide open offensively. You never know in this game, though. You never know, honestly. But in that particular game, Drake London said 8 receptions, 142 yards, 1 touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown said 8 receptions, 128 yards. Tyler Vaughn said 6 receptions, 106 yards, 1 touchdown. Michael Pittman said 13 receptions, 104 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's a lot of talking. I mean, that would even impress Big Mike Williams, who is always going to be remembered for standing over the little 5'9", what was his name? Matt Clark, the defensive back from UCLA. Iconic picture. Bruin cornerback sitting on his butt in the end zone. Mike Williams standing in front of him, saluting everybody. It was like a giant and a little kid. Great smack talk. That's the type I like. I also like 27-0. That was the game. That was Pete Carroll's first year in the USC UCLA rivalry. Antoine Simmons went 5-hole for the pick 6. One of my all-time favorite plays. I'm a huge fan of the smack talk when you dial up a deep ball from Matt Barkley to Damian Williams after Rick Neuheisel calls a timeout that almost causes a midfield brawl afterwards. Love it. Give me that. So while UCLA's fight song talks about the men of Troy, it really does. Go check out their fight song. It mentions USC. USC will use their own smack talk. They'll collaborate with a band called Fleetwood Mac. They'll go triple platinum, write a song called Tusk. And if you know, you know. By the way, last note on this game. Technically, this is a road game. The Rose Bowl is USC's home away from home, so it's not really a road game. But if USC doesn't win on Saturday, this will be the first time since 1950 that they've gone an entire season without winning a road game. That can't happen. I know USC won in Vegas against LSU, but that doesn't really count. Neutral site game. So, yeah, this game carries a little bit of significance. You cannot go an entire year without winning a game on the road, even if it's at the Rose Bowl against UCLA. It's the holiday season. Are you trying to find a gift for a group? You got a group of people, group of loved ones you like hanging out with. Maybe a tailgate with a large group, and that makes it hard and expensive trying to gift everyone. Some of you might come from a big family. So if you are planning to celebrate the holidays with your tailgate group of friends, and you want to surprise them all with something a bit more special and meaningful than booze this year, I've got the perfect gift for you. Skylight Frame is the touchscreen digital photo frame your whole family will love. Upload thousands of photos. You can do it with your phone, and you can watch them appear in seconds. It's easy to use. Setup takes less than 60 seconds. You can add new photos straight from your phone from anywhere. It only takes a tap on your phone to send new photos to a frame across the country. It's the fastest and easiest way to keep loved ones in the loop. They'll feel so much more connected to you. Gift mode. This is cool. Check this out. It makes it a very meaningful, personalized gift. You can preload it with memories without opening the box, surprise them with old sentimental photos, and as soon as it's plugged in, I mean, it instantly just pops up. I love stuff like that. Stuff that makes you feel like you're in a room full of onions. Satisfaction is also guaranteed. We're confident that you'll love Skylight. We offer free 120-day returns. And now, as a special limited time offer for our listeners, you'll get $20 off your purchase of a Skylight frame when you go to skylightframe.com/college. That's Skylight Frame, SKYLIGHTFRAME.com/college. skylightframe.com/college. Get $20 off your purchase now at skylightframe.com/college. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with America's #1 sportsbook, FanDuel. Right now, new customers, you can bet $5 and you get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, and you can do it all in one place. So if you get a hunch, you're in the middle of the game and you need to check out some stats, you need to check out some live play-by-play, you want to place another bet, you can do that at FanDuel.com. Join today. You're going to get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. My good friend over there at WeAreSC.com, Eric McKinney, he's been keeping everyone updated on USC's latest bowl prospects, their latest bowl projections, where they could end up. A couple weeks ago, didn't look too promising. Right now, they still got to win one more game to make themselves bowl eligible. So here's what some of the national publications, writers, this is where they think USC is going to end up playing. Basically, Eric's put together a roundup of all the bowl projections, and let me just go over these real quickly with you before we get out of here. So CBS Sports, they got USC playing December 18th in the Los Angeles Bowl against UNLV. They had the same projection last week. USC has never appeared in this bowl game. I hope USC never has to appear in this bowl game because it's a bottom feeder game. Just being honest. And it's actually, this bowl's only been around for 4 years as well. They have USC playing UNLV in this bowl game. What makes that kind of intriguing, Jaden Mayava played at UNLV last year. Don't know. Might make the game a little bit spicier. The Action Network. They've got USC playing North Carolina in the Sun Bowl. I thought USC eliminated themselves from El Paso. Apparently not. But it looks like it would be New Year's Eve in El Paso, Texas. Action Network has USC playing North Carolina. Last week, same bowl game, but Georgia Tech. Yeah, you know USC has played Georgia Tech there before. Lane Kiffin remembers. No, don't want that. Again, I'm sure El Paso's a lovely town. Just, I don't know if I want to spend New Year's Eve there. That's all. If USC's playing there, I'm going. Don't get me wrong. ESPN, they've got two guys who've got different predictions. Both of them, though, have USC in the Sun Bowl. Both of them. Kyle Bonagura has USC playing Louisville. Remember, USC kicked Louisville's butt in the Holiday Bowl last year. Mark Schlabach, he has USC playing Pittsburgh. Interesting. USC and Pittsburgh's actually played 10 times throughout their history. USC is 6-4 against Pittsburgh. The last time they played was back in 1974. That was a national championship year for the Trojans. USC beat them 16-7. The sporting news. Let's see. Independence Bowl. Shreveport, Louisiana. That would be December 28th. And they've got USC playing Memphis. Good. The last time USC played Memphis, they were called Memphis State. That was at the Coliseum. USC ended up going 3-8 that year. The only person I think who wants to play Memphis is USC's running back coach, Anthony Jones Jr., to where he's from. Last week, the Sporting News had USC in the same bowl game. Excuse me, they had USC in the Alamo Bowl against Kansas State. I want to go to the Alamo Bowl. Let's go to San Antonio. I don't care who they play. Let's just go to San Antonio. And then USA Today, last one. We're going to wrap it up with this. They've got USC playing Missouri in the Las Vegas Bowl. Okay, that's December 27th. Interesting. I think that would be a fun game, actually. I remember the last time USC played Missouri. We also went on to win a national championship. I think it was 1978, 79, right? Pretty sure. You guys can correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. So how would that feel? Start the season in Las Vegas, beating LSU, SEC. Finish the season beating Missouri in Las Vegas, SEC. Why not? Where do you want to go follow USC to play in a bowl game? Where do you think they're going to end up? I'll be back with another episode of Locked on USC tomorrow. That's what we do 5 times a week. So until then, everyone, you know what to do.